interrupting tonight's entertainment, Raven.
I detest violence, Luther, but I'm even less fond of you.
I personally wouldn't consider myself a die-hard comic book fan, but I've read them and know the characters of DC Comics well enough that my interest in Injustice Gods Among Us was already at fever pitch. Developed by fighting game godfathers NetherRealm Studios, Injustice promises some innovative gameplay slipped into a traditional Elseworlds fable written and co-developed by several DC writers. It's easier said than done in a competitive genre like this one, but experience is on its side, and without a doubt, Injustice Gods Among Us is an awesome addition to the fighting game library. Injustice asked the question of what would happen if our greatest heroes turned on us in the name of their own game. Well, that's pretty much what happens after the Joker tricks Superman into murdering Lois and his unborn child that detonates a nuke that destroys Metropolis as a repercussion of his actions. Wrestling with his enormous guilt, Superman incites a worldwide ceasefire that devolves into forced rule, dividing heroes and villains into opposing sides, and triggers Batman to teleport alternate dimension versions of the heroes where the atrocity never happened to course correct the current timeline. The 4-hour story is broken into 12 separate chapters, and it gives you a broad spectrum of characters to play and exposes you to a broad range of fighting styles. Add to that some timely mini-games that, while not incredibly necessary, do well to break up the game's fight, brag and cutscene rhythm, and it's a nice cauldron of variety that prevents it all from spilling over into repetitiveness. It ends on a whimper after a pleasantly fun build-up, but its highly involving spotlight on the fine line between moral ambiguity through a singular vision of world peace is an intriguing scenario. The writing does a good job of keeping Superman grounded while painting him in an effectively villainous light, and at times shifts and trans-dimensional capering won't leave you confused against the likes of Bioshock Infinite. Readers of the comic book prequels will get more of a kick out of the origin of the tragedy that sparks the events, but it's an enjoyable story that keeps free of overcomplication. Injustice Gods Among Us is on the surface a traditional fighting game, but layered with more depth than most objective people might actually realise. You can boot it up quickly to engage in a single fight or same-screen multiplayer fight for a quick go, or spend several hours hitting up the training module to learn the combos and moves for all the characters. The armoured life gauge compounds the play by serving as 2 rounds and keeps the pace free of any pause that has stagnated the genre for quite a while. Fights across all game modes reward you experience points that max out at rank 50, which unlocks you a slew of alternate costumes as well as backgrounds, portraits, and icons to customise your hero card identifier for online versus play. The combat super meter can be used to unleash devastating damage moves to opponents when filled up, or banked to be used in a player-triggered wager face-offs, where the highest bidder to sacrifice their energy bars will either deal damage or regenerate a percentage of their health based on whether they're winning or losing. Where Injustice gets a lot of its freshness is in the interactive destruction with the immediate arena that affords a high degree of latitude in tackling each fight with an evolving strategy. Multi-tiered environments loaded with destructible interactive objects enhance the combo-heavy gameplay, and embracing it as a part of your own style affords bonus creativity perks for a job well done. The over-the-top manner allows the transitions to be downright inventive and features cameos that will put a smile on your face while the damage is being dealt to the unfortunate soul on the receiving end. Outside of the story mode are several options that will keep you busy. The battle playlist aligns closely as a hybrid of the tower and arcade system found in Mortal Kombat, but places a more strict focus on modifiers like hero and villain exclusive fights, or damage and health tweaks to keep you on your toes. Cutscenes specific to each character you finish playlists await you, followed by more bonus unlockables to entice you to play through it with every character. The difficulty spikes are occasionally frustrating and can encourage you to be cheap in order to win, but the general structure keeps fights fast and rewarding. More intriguing is the Star Labs mode, a beast unto itself that has you completing character-specific missions where you'll be required to satisfy certain conditions. Satisfying these conditions rewards you with up to 3 stars each round that you'll need to advance to new missions that ascend in difficulty. There's a smattering of variety here where the most minor modification to the battle can be harder to satisfy than you might realise, and it all works well as both a training module and enjoyable minigame-based campaign once you've completed the story. Online multiplayer is included and features ranked matches that tally you in a leaderboard through sparring against other players, and non-competitive player matches that include tweaked versions of King of the Hill and Survival, but the real draw is the one-on-one matches where you can join and create rooms to easily find friends or challenge random players. There are also timed daily challenges that, if completed, can reward you XP bonuses for your online-offline profile, and the network code chugs along admirably, but they can be the infrequent input lag when trying to pull off super moves, and I was often disconnected when trying to start up player matches, which unfortunately counts negatively towards your player record. A notable integration is the unlocking of costumes and items in the game through playing the Injustice Gods Among Us app available on the iTunes App Store. Certain bouts in the console game can reward you credits, booster packs, and individual bonuses to be used in the app version, but it all depends on whether or not you're eager to unlock all that's available on either side of the coin. For what it's worth, it's an intelligent design and incentive is plenty to keep you invested in the franchise on both sides. Just make sure that you have a WB account to be able to get all the rewards.
I don't think so. Now then, Sinestro. Enough talk.
Though lacking in finite polish, Injustice is a very attractive game, boasting well-rendered in-game animations and character models. The plenitude of over a dozen gorgeous stages with events unfolding all their own that can cause new interactive items to come into play at sequential times in the fight is awesome, and the sound design and music are very solid. It falls flat with some bland cutscenes that are made up through solid voice acting by the returning actors from the animated series and standalone films, and it's certainly not the best looking game at the end of the current generation, but Injustice brings enough life to the DC aesthetic that you'll buy its universe tenfold.
I still can't believe he lost it this bad, even with what Joker did.
In Superman's mind, he destroyed Metropolis.
I'm not following.
In a genre that's become all too familiar of late, Injustice Gods Among Us rejuvenates it with some intelligent ideas and a strong license to found them upon. There's no denying the game's crossover appeal was at the forefront of NetherRealm's design choices, and it's great to see that it's been able to, for the most part, been realised with a solid story, entertaining mechanics, and hugely enjoyable chaotic style with some rough presentational edges. I've never enjoyed a fighting game this much for its tactical chaos, so if it isn't clear yet, allow me to phrase it carefully for those of you with peaking interest for something to get you through the autumn gaming lull. Buy it now, or rent it if you're low on cash.
You're overmatched.
Prove it.